Okay, this is a classic one, which maybe you know, maybe you don't, but if you don't, you have to know it. This is just a point from Onkelos. Now, I think we've discussed this a bit in the past, that right, we have an obligation every week to do Shtayim Mikra. The Targum. Targum classically means Onkelos. It does not mean, right? It does not mean, not classically, obviously, it doesn't mean Rashi, and it doesn't mean English either. The reason is because Targum is not only a translation, it is a commentary. Now, I think I've mentioned this before, but to give you a brief history here, right? How many Targumim do we have access to? 4, 3.5, 3.5 as it goes, right? Our the only one we have incomplete from Bavel is Onkelos. But we have, right, the only full manuscript we have of a Targum Eretz Yisrael is what's known as Neo-50 or Ktav Yad Romi, which was a Yerushalmi Targum that was found in the Vatican, hence Ktav Yad Romi. Then we have Fragment, right, what in many Chumashim is called Targum Yerushalmi, right? That's just a fragment Targum from Eretz Yisrael. Jonathan is a bizarre commentary. It is not obviously Jonathan, obviously, because the Gemara says that Jonathan ben Uziel wrote a Targum only on Nevi'im, right? Only on Nevi'im, right? And says he dafka didn't write on Ksuvim because that would have revealed secrets that would have been, earth-shattering. And you would think that in that discussion it would have mentioned that he wrote something on Chumash. He did not. It is a conglomerate. It has a lot of Targum Eretz Yisrael. It also has some, again, how much of it is old and how much of it is not old is unclear. It seems to have had a lot of insertions over the years. It has some medieval stuff. We know it's medieval because it talks about Islam, right? It's not, right, meaning like at different points, like the wife of Yishmael is referred to as like Fatima, right? Meaning it's clearly a reference to Islam, right? You're talking about, now often you will have that, in the Bavli sometimes it says you are not allowed to be Metargem this in such a way. Obviously the reason it's saying that is not because it woke up one morning and said, that would be a terrible way to be Metargem something. It's because there were people being Metargem things in that way, and in Eretz Yisrael they were being Metargem it often, and therefore in the Targum Eretz Yisrael you will find that which the Bavli said is Asur is the way the Targum Eretz Yisrael actually translate it. Now Onkelos, of those 4, is the most pshat-oriented, right? The 3 Targumei Eretz Yisrael are much more elaborate, right? Much more elaborate. A lot of what we know as Midrash is incorporated into the Targum, right? Meaning as a translation, right? In Shul, when they used to read the Parsha plus Targum, and Eretz Yisrael presumably took like 25 hours, because it's endless, but not because they only had a triennial, so it was fine, right? They only did every 3.5 years, so it's fine. So the Targum took a long time, but the Parsha was much shorter. Onkelos is mostly pshat, mostly. There are a few areas in Chumash where Onkelos goes on a very midrashic not rant, but he goes on. He provides extensive midrashic interpretation, usually brachot. Like in the end of Vayechi, at the end of Zos HaBracha, Onkelos suddenly, pshat is left to the wayside, right? He just moves on. But usually on a given parsha, Onkelos will have a few changes here and there. What is his most consistent change?
Taking the anthropomorphism.
Correct, is taking away anthropomorphism. But sometimes he actually gives you perushim into it. And one of the most famous cases in which he does that is Ki tir'eh chamor sonacha rovet tachat masao v'chadalta me'azov lo azov ta'azov imo. Right. So if you see the donkey of your enemy, which is collapsing under its weight, v'chadalta me'azov lo, right, and you want to refrain from helping him, don't do that, right? Azov ta'azov imo. Now that is a very weird conjugation, right? It means clearly in context, don't not help your enemy, right? But what exactly does azov ta'azov imo mean, right? Thou shalt surely leave with him, right? Leave with him, right? It's not, right? It doesn't really, right? The grammar is extremely difficult. Extremely, extremely difficult. So what does it mean? Right, what does it mean? What does the pasuk mean? Translate it, right?
Help your friend with his donkey.
Yeah, but how do you get that from the word? Right? It's ki terech hamor sonacha. This is chav gimel hey. Ki terech hamor sonacha rovetz tachat masa. That's easy. When you see your enemy, his animal collapsing, the chodalta me'azov lo, and you, right, refrain, you're holding yourself back, something like that, from helping him. Azov ta'azovimo, right? So leave him or leave with him, right? It's not a right. You normally be azov oto, right? Leave him, not azov, right? Imo, right? Leave. Like what is that, right? So look, for example, at Ibn Ezra, right? Ibn Ezra struggles with it. He says, "Kamo chadal lecha me'asor davar." Right? If you refrain from doing it, v'chem shamarta v'atam chadal shena'azov hadavar lo levado. Meaning chadal means, and you're leaving it for him to do by himself. Rak tatir imo haksharim v'tazov hamatzah v'pol mizeh atzad u'mizeh atzad. Right? It's sort of a pun, right? Because normally, what does chadal mean? What does chadal mean? No, azov, right? Meaning you refrain, which means you left, right? Right? So it's punning, right? What the way that Ibn Ezra understands it is v'chadal. If you want to leave, you shouldn't leave. Instead, azov ta'azov imo, you should remove the load, meaning make the load be removed. Right? Rather than removing yourself, you should remove the load. It's a pun. Right? Because chadal and azov mean basically the same thing, and we don't want you to be chadal, we tell you azov ta'azov imo, it doesn't really work. But I mean, it's not a normal way of saying it. But it's punning. I assume what the Ibn Ezra wants is that it's punning. Right? It's saying instead of being chadal yourself, be chadal, right? Make the load that is causing the animal to collapse, make it be chadal, right? Make it leave. Right? I assume that's what the Ibn Ezra wants. But you see, it's a very weird conjugation. Alternatively, he says, V'yesh omrim kamova ya'azvu Yerushalayim lit'on hamatzah. He said, maybe it is a different conjugation, that in Nehemiah, azov might not mean leave, it might mean to load. Right? It's not a normal interpretation of the word either, but he says, some people say that if you look at Nehemiah, azov might not mean leave, it might mean load, so then it makes sense. Don't not load, instead load with him. But then you have to assume that azov means something doesn't mean chumash, right? Anywhere else, it only means in Nehemiah, which is not impossible. Not impossible. So what does Onkelos do? And this is where you see what it means for Onkelos to do interpretation. So if I asked you, if your enemy is there struggling and you don't want to help him, what do you need to do to bring yourself to help him?
You overcome your.
Yeah. So think about this is what Onkelos does to it. Mishbak tishpok, right? Azov to azov. Ma debilibach alohi. Right? Leave what is in your heart against him. Utifarek imei. And then you will, right? You'll help unload. Meaning, azov to azov, right? He has to read something in order to make it work. He says, what is it that you are leaving? You're not leaving him, right? You're leaving that which is in your heart. You're abandoning your hatred so that you can then be with him, right? He's reading in extra words, right? It's a chesurim echsera, right? Now, sometimes, and that's what that comes back to my opening point, is that the reason that we say that a mere translation doesn't work is because Onkelos is not a mere translation. It usually is a translation, right? But it also is an attempted parshanut when the translation is difficult, right? And this is one of his more expansive ones, right? It's not so many words, but clearly he's adding in an entire theological read. Rashi, right, hints at this as well. The Chizkuni developed this as well, all based on Onkelos. But that's one of the things that you should keep in mind when you are doing Onkelos, right, that it is not just a translation. I know you have an English translation of Onkelos, which you might think is a contradiction, but it's actually not. Right? Meaning Onkelos is actually an attempt at parshanut, right? In at least some circumstances, and noticing when he does that is important to understanding the way he understood Chumash. Okay.